pawn to d4, pawn to d5, and we play pawn to c4, c3, and that is the queen's gambit. If they take, we'll push the e2 pawn to e3 and ready for the development and capturing. So we'll explore many variants of this gambit, and those are lead to checkmate. So if they defend by pushing b5 pawn, we'll push back to the h6 pawn. If they try to defend, that is a blunder, because if we capture, they capture, then we take their free rook. So they won't do that. If they protect with the bishop, we can develop our knight and capture pawn, trade, and go back. We can still protect it. So after that, if they go back to protect, because the knight is protecting the bishop, so the bishop is not being captured, we'll friend a rook capture on the diagonal of f file and h file. If they try to block with the pawn, we'll capture their free bishop. If they capture back, we will fork them. And yeah, the only way is to block with the queen, and we'll go down, capture their rook, and blocked. And the queen needs to block once more. We'll keep checking and eat all their materials. We'll capture all of their materials. And look how many points we are up. About 10 points already. And that's a huge amount of points. So if they try to defend by the pawn to c6, protecting the pawn, and we trade, we will play the same move. But this time they can move their knight, so they won't do that. So if they capture on c4, we will do the same thing.
Bishop captures, and many black players prefer to fianchetto the dark squared bishop before castling kingside. So after pawn to g6, we develop with knight to f3. Now when black places the bishop on g7, we strike with a brilliant move, queen to a4, delivering check. At this point, black has multiple ways to block the check, but almost all of them lead to trouble, except for one. Let's start by examining the most common responses. Many of you might consider bishop to d7 a natural-looking move that also attacks the queen, but then we simply slide over to queen to b3, attacking two key targets at once. Even if black castles, we can ramp up the pressure on the king side with knight to e5. So clearly bishop to d7 is not an ideal defense. Now what if black chooses knight to c6 instead? Well, once again, knight to a5 comes in strong, hitting both the knight and the f7 pawn.
And the knight is pinned.
If black castles, we can simply trade knights and walk away with a free pawn. And if black tries to defend with the bishop, we have a crushing tactic, a fork on the queen and winning material. Okay, let's rewind. But what other options does black have? What if black plays knight to d7 instead? Well, now you have a stunning bishop sacrifice. After the king captures, you follow up with knight to g5, delivering check. If the king moves to e8, then it gets completely trapped, just like this. If the king steps to f8, we have a beautiful fork, and the queen is lost. And if the king moves to g8, then we have a forced checkmate in 4 moves. Can you spot it? Here we go. First, queen to c4, delivering check. The only safe square for the king is f8. Now, the immediate threat is queen to f7,
but they're gonna get forked. Or we can have a checkmate.
Black tries to block, but we simply capture. He blocks again, but this time we finish the game with a crushing checkmate. Alright, now what if black blocks with the knight instead? Well, in that case, once again, you have the same brilliant bishop sacrifice, followed by knight to g5, delivering check. If the king retreats, then we get the same winning ideas we saw earlier, even though black has the option of playing king to f6. The position is already disastrous. The king is completely exposed, so we just need to hunt it down and finish the game. Stockfish evaluates this as a massive 6-point advantage for white. Alright, let's rewind. What other ways can black try to block the check? What about queen to d7? Well, once again, we have the bishop check. If the king captures, then we unleash a stunning knight check, forking the king and queen. So instead, the king will be forced to step to would e8 or f8, losing the right to castle. At that point, we can simply develop with bishop to b3, or even queen to b3,
we can have a bishop prepared with a queen, And
now the only
check
move
them.
that might look reasonable for black is pawn to c6. There are no
So
immediate
if they
traps
block
here,
back
but
with
white is
the
still completely
pawn
fine.
on c6,
And that's the best part about this trap.
we'll
Even
have
if black
another
defends
defense.
well,
This
white
time we
still
won't,
gets a great position.
Do anything
If black
crazy,
doesn't play
just
perfectly, white
normal-
gains a strong
normally
advantage.
developing.
Now,
or we can
onto
just
our
sack
next
our
trap,
bishop
the
again.
Slav defense.
So it's very deadly.
After some
So what
natural
if they
moves, we trade
defend
pawns,
and
leaving black with an
beginning?
isolated
Then
pawn.
we'll play just a
This is
normal
the perfect
game.
moment for
After
queen
that,
to
we'll
b3,
do the
attacking
same
both
thing
weak
with our
pawns.
queen into the center.
Common
into
replies,
the
queen to
b3
b6
square,
and pawn to b6
forking
are
their
both
pawn.
mistakes. Can you find
And
black's best move
if
here?
they
Surprisingly, the
move
best move for black is to retreat
forward,
the bishop, even though
their
it
b
looks
pawn
awkward.
forward, the b7
Now let's check the
pawn
common
forward.
responses.
They're gonna get
Queen
in
to
trouble.
b6,
So
don't
if
trade
they
queens,
move their
first
queen
capture the pawn.
and try
If black
to
takes the
ask
knight,
us
recapture
if
with
we
the queen.
would like a
And
trade,
if black takes the
we
queen,
can just
don't take
capture
back
the
immediately.
First,
play knight to f6, delivering
but if they
check,
capture like
then
that,
recapture.
we're gonna get
Now the
a
second
free
most
knight
common move is
and
pawn to
capture a
b6.
free
Can you
queen.
find white's crushing
But
move here?
that's a
It's
trade,
pawn
but
to
the
e4.
queen
You activate the
is
bishop's
open.
diagonal,
So after
preparing
that,
to attack
we'll
from both sides.
strike into
Black
the center
captures, play
with
knight
the
to
e4
e5,
pawn.
threatening checkmate.
And we have two
The only
bishops ready
defenses
for
are pawn to
development, and we
e6
can
or bishop to
jump our
e6,
knight
but either
into
way,
the center
bishop to
and
b5.
trying to checkmate it.
Delivering
If
check
they do that,
follows.
we'll check them with
Black
our
must
bishop,
block with a
our
knight,
bishop.
after which bishop to
And after they
g5
block
leaves
it,
both knights
we
pinned
can
and struggling
pin
to
the
protect
knight.
each other.
A pretty cool
Eventually,
diagonal,
both knights
right?
fall, and
And
white
if we
continues
capture
the
the
attack.
pawn, we'll
Even
have
if black
a very
captures
strong
with the
move.
knight or bishop, the
So
result
after
is the
that,
same. After exchanges, white
it will
gains
be
a
great.
decisive attack.
You see, in the position,
In the Slav
in the
defense, if
position,
black
we
develops
already
this bishop,
upped a bunch
which is
of
very likely,
materials, and we
white
have
can
two
dominate right
great
from the opening.
diagonals, two
Now
long
let's look at another
diagonals.
trap in the queen's
And,
gambit
yeah,
declined.
That's
After
the
d4,
queen's
d5,
gambit.
c4,
And
black
the
plays
queen's
the common
gambit have
response,
another
e6.
traps that
The
we
game
would like to
continues
learn.
with natural
If
development.
they
Knight to c3, knight
protect
to
the pawn into the
f6,
center
bishop to
with pawn to
g5,
e6,
bishop to
we
e7,
can pin
a3,
them.
and black castles.
And there's another
We develop the
situation
other
for
knight,
the
knight to
queen's
b7,
gambit.
then trade
That's
central
the
pawns.
last one was just
After
basic.
black
This
recaptures,
one is
we
more
activate our
advanced,
bishop.
and we'll
Black
trade
places
into the
their rook on the
center,
semi-open file,
developing
and we
our
mirror the
bishop,
move.
and they
Black's
try
c6
to attack
solidifies
our
the center and
c3
stops knight
e3
to b5.
pawn.
This is a
They
typical
try
setup in the
to
queen's gambit.
protect
And
the
now it's time
pawn
to set the trap.
and
First,
friend
we
our
castle.
piece not to go
After
to
black
the b5.
plays h6,
And we
attacking
will
the bishop
have
and creating
long
space for
castle.
the king,
They kick
we
our
retreat
bishop.
the bishop.
We can trade
Many players
knight,
then try to
but
trade
we
off the
don't
bishop pair
actually.
by playing knight to h5,
And after they move
aiming
the
to
knight
exchange
there,
it for the bishop.
But
this is a
friend
mistake.
our bishop,
Can you spot the
we
best move for
can
white?
just ignore it.
The brilliant
we
move is
can
knight takes
just
on d5.
move our pawn to
Black
the
can't
center
capture the
or
knight because
capture
bishop to
their
c7
pawn
traps the
center.
queen.
After trade,
So black
we'll
can't take the knight,
have
and even
a
if they
queen
capture the
trap.
bishop, white
And this
recaptures
might
with a
indicate
knight,
the queen gambit.
gaining a healthy
So
central
if they
pawn
do that,
advantage.
if they actually
Now let's move on to our
accidentally
next trap,
capture our
the Albin counter
our
gambit.
free knight, yeah, the queen's trap.
Here's how the main
So the best
line
defense
goes.
against this
After
is
d
to
takes on
develop
d5,
their
pawn to
pawn to
d4, knight to
e5.
f3
After
attacks the
capture,
pawn,
they should
and knight to
push.
c6
And
defends it.
if they push, we
Then
just
g3 plans to
yeah,
flanchetto the
prepare
bishop,
normal
followed
game.
by bishop
We
to
can
g4,
just set up the Indian
attacking the
defense.
knight and indirectly
They
the
pin our
pawn.
knight.
After
We don't
bishop to
care.
g2, queen to
We
d7 aims to
just
exchange
protect it
bishops.
back. They
Now,
move their
castling
queen
seems like
and
the
try to
obvious
protect
move,
their
but to
bishop.
surprise your
We can
opponent,
just castle,
try pawn to
and
h3.
we can just
This often
hold
confuses
our pawn,
black, and most players
attacking
opt
their
to take the knight. This allows
bishop.
white to capture the free
And if
pawn
they
on
capture,
d7.
then they
A
capture
common
back.
response from
And
black
they will
is to
have
castle
a
queenside,
free pawn in the
defending the
center.
pawn with the king,
But
and
if they
preparing
don't
to
want to
activate
capture,
the rook
it's
along
okay.
the semi-open file.
Because they
Black
have a
has
very
fallen into
strong
your trap.
diagonal.
Can you find the
Friend
winning move? The decisive
to
move is bishop to
prepare for
g4, pinning the
We
queen.
can just
But what if black blocks
push
with
our
pawn
bishop
to f5?
and yeah,
Should you capture with the
we
bishop?
can capture
That won't
back
work because
the
black can
pawn,
simply take with the queen.
because if we do that,
So,
we'll have
what's the correct response?
pin.
We
But
capture the pawn
our
en
bishop is
passant,
not protected.
reactivating the pin.
So we will
Now, there's no
capture
escape for the
through
queen. That
through
wraps up our
the,
top 5
en
Queen's
passant
Gambit traps.
thing,
I hope
and,
these strategies
yeah,
help you
pin
get an edge in your
queen
games.
to the king.
If you found this video
A pretty
useful,
deadly
don't forget
trap.
to hit the like button and
They
subscribe for
have
more
no way
chess
to
tips
defend
and
it
tricks.
because
Thanks for watching.
can't get rid of it. Instead, if you only have a defense thingy, defense attacker or defender, like that, and you see in this position they are completely collapsed.